What's up, Lakers Nation? Get ready, because we're diving into a trade idea so wild, so audacious, that only the Los Angeles Lakers, especially in desperate times, might be crazy enough to actually pursue it. That's right, after a disappointing five-game exit in the first round of the playoffs, the Lakers are facing a critical offseason, and desperation is definitely in the air. This is a franchise built on making big moves, on acquiring stars, living up to that Hollywood reputation. The question now is, just how big and how risky is President of Basketball Operations Rob Pelinka willing to go in the relentless pursuit of championship number 18? We know that acquiring Luka Doncic back in February, in our hypothetical scenario, was a monumental move, securing the future of the franchise for the next decade, assuming he signs that expected extension. And while LeBron James has until June 29th to decide on his player option, the widespread expectation is that he'll be back for at least one more run. But even with two absolute superstars like Luka and LeBron leading the way, the playoff series against the Minnesota Timberwolves exposed some glaring weaknesses. The team's defense, which looked better mid-season, proved inconsistent. The lack of a true, impactful center was painfully evident, with Rudy Gobert dominating the paint and the Wolves physically imposing their will inside. Plus, head coach J.J. Redick seemed to lose trust in the bench as the series wore on, relying heavily on the starters, which ultimately backfired. So this offseason presents a fork in the road. Pelinka could play it relatively safe, focusing on finding solid role players, adding a competent center in free agency, and hoping a full season with Luka makes the difference. But is that the Lakers' way? History tells us absolutely not. This franchise is synonymous with star power, with making the splashiest moves possible. While many experts are predicting moves for second-tier targets like Nick Claxton or Brook Lopez, and while pursuing top-tier guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo or Kevin Durant is appealing, the reality is the Lakers simply don't have the draft capital or young assets to win a bidding war against teams with deeper arsenals. This doesn't mean the Lakers can't think big. It just means any superstar pursuit will require a level of risk that might seem borderline suicidal to other franchises. There are indeed superstar-level talents who could potentially be available, but they often come with significant baggage, and given the pressure to win now, and perhaps spurred on by the Dallas Mavericks winning the draft lottery and potentially landing a future star like Cooper Flagg, the Lakers might just be inclined to take that enormous gamble. Enter the truly wild trade target, Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks. This idea is based on the premise that the Lakers, instead of seeking balance, decide to create an unstoppable offensive juggernaut capable of simply outscoring everyone. Trae Young's name has been in trade rumors for a while, especially as Atlanta's young core has shown flashes of promise even without him. While Trae certainly wouldn't solve the Lakers' defensive issues, in fact he might exacerbate them, his offensive firepower is undeniable. Last season, he led the league with an incredible 11.6 assists per game, showcasing elite court vision. While not Magic Johnson, his passing prowess and flair for the dramatic are exactly the kind of playmaking punch the Lakers could add. The proposed trade package to land Trae Young involves sending Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and Dalton Knecht to the Atlanta Hawks. This specific combination of salaries and players would allow the Lakers to keep their perceived top three players, presumably Luka, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, based on the context of previous hypothetical moves. While most teams would demand a king's ransom in draft picks for a player of Trae's offensive caliber, the Lakers' lack of available picks means they have to rely on sending out players. This package of established veterans and a promising young prospect like Knecht might be considered a reasonable return for the Hawks if they genuinely believe they've seen the best of the Trae Young era and are ready to fully commit to a different direction. Pairing Trae with Luka, LeBron, and a hypothetical competent center acquired elsewhere in free agency could create an offense that is genuinely impossible for opponents to stop. Plus, it would complete the fascinating circle of the Luka-Trae draft night trade from 2018, bringing them together years later in Los Angeles. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Is there a high probability that this kind of move blows up in the Lakers' face? Absolutely yes. The defensive concerns are real, and integrating such high-usage guards could be tricky. But if Rob Pelinka decides that taking on this level of risk is necessary to swing for a championship now, he just might be crazy enough to pull the trigger and shock the league once again. It's a high-wire act, but that's often how the Lakers operate. All right, Lakers Nation, this is a spicy one. What do you think about this wild trade idea for Trae Young? Would you give up Rui, Gabe, Maxey, and Dalton for Trae, even with the defensive concerns? Do you think Rob Pelinka is actually crazy enough to pursue a move like this? Let me know all your thoughts, your excitement, and your worries in the comments section below. Let's get this discussion fired up. And hey, if you're ready for a potentially wild offseason and want to stay completely locked in on all the Lakers news, rumors, and analysis, no matter how crazy the ideas get, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single update. That's going to wrap things up for this video. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Keep that purple and gold energy high, and let's brace ourselves for whatever Rob Pelinka might have up his sleeve. Go Lakers! What's up, Lakers Nation? Get ready, because we're diving into a trade idea so incredibly bold, so high risk, that it might just be the kind of move our president of basketball operations, Rob Pelinka, is crazy enough to actually pursue in this desperate offseason. That's right. After a crushing 5-game elimination in the first round of the playoffs, the Los Angeles Lakers are facing desperate times. This franchise has a long history of making massive, landscape-altering moves, and the big question this summer is, how far and how risky is Rob Pelinka willing to go in the relentless pursuit of championship number 18? Could the ultimate high-risk, high-reward target be on the Lakers' radar? Let's recap. The hypothetical trade that brought Luka Doncic to Los Angeles back in February was a game-changer, securing the future of the franchise post-LeBron, assuming Luka signs that extension. And while LeBron's decision is still pending, the expectation is he'll be back. But even with two superstars, the playoff series against the Minnesota Timberwolves brutally exposed our weaknesses. The defense was shaky, and critically, the lack of a true dominant center was a major problem, highlighted by Rudy Gobert's impact. Anthony Davis has made it clear he prefers playing power forward, and the need for a real center became even more obvious after the hypothetical Luka trade. Coach J.J. Redick's reliance on starters in the playoffs also showed a lack of trust in bench depth. This offseason, the Lakers could play it safe, look for role players, and a solid center in free agency and hope a full season with Luka is enough. But that's not the Lakers' way. This franchise is built on star power. While experts debate realistic targets like Nick Claxton or Brook Lopez, and while superstar dreams like Giannis or Durant are appealing, but likely out of reach due to asset limitations, the Lakers might need to look elsewhere for that superstar punch. This means considering players who come with significant question marks, players who are high risk, but offer immense upside if it works, and perhaps fueled by the Dallas Mavericks winning the draft lottery and potentially landing a future star like Cooper Flagg, the pressure for the Lakers to make a big splash is even higher. This brings us to the ultimate high-risk, high-reward trade target, Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia Sixers. Want to fly close to the sun, Lakers fans? This is it. Embiid was the MVP just 2 years ago. When he's healthy, he is arguably the most dominant offensive center in the game, truly one of the best big men in the world. He directly addresses the Lakers' biggest need for a true center and fits the franchise's history of acquiring superstar bigs. However, the risk with Embiid is absolutely terrifying. Even more so than other high-risk players, his health situation is a massive concern. He's owed over $55 million next year and a staggering $193 million over the 3 years after that on his Supermax extension, which hasn't even technically started yet. He played in only 39 games last season, missing significant time with chronic knee issues, and he's dealt with back problems throughout his career. Trading for a player with such a significant injury history, especially a big man with chronic issues, is incredibly scary, compounded by the nearly $250 million still owed to him. This is a move with no middle ground. Either Embiid stays healthy enough to help the Lakers become an unstoppable force, or his health issues derail the team and cripple the franchise financially for years. To match Embiid's massive salary, the Lakers would likely need to send out a package including Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and Austin Reeves. That's a significant portion of the roster, but it gets the salary needed to make the trade work. Given the Sixers' potential anxiety about Embiid's contract and health, there's even a possibility the Lakers could acquire a draft pick or two from Philadelphia as part of the deal, essentially getting assets back for taking on the risk. Remember, the Lakers reportedly voided the trade for Mark Williams precisely because of concerns about his medical history. Trading for Embiid would be a complete reversal, a move that would likely make the team doctors sweat profusely. But as the Lakers showed with the Luka trade, you can never say never when it comes to pursuing superstars. What about the upside? When Embiid is on the court, he's a force of nature. He gets to the free throw line more than almost anyone, and before this injury-shortened season, he averaged over 30 points per game for 3 straight years. He's an intimidating rim protector and one of the few players who can replicate the defensive impact Anthony Davis provides when playing the 5. Pairing a healthy Embiid with Luka and LeBron would create a truly terrifying offensive and defensive frontcourt. This is a decision with monumental consequences. It's the definition of a home run swing with the potential for a catastrophic strikeout. If Rob Pelinka decides that the potential reward of an MVP-level Embiid is worth the immense health and financial risk, he could shock the league and position the Lakers to immediately contend for a title. But if it goes wrong, the consequences could be devastating. All right, Lakers Nation, this is the definition of a wild trade target. What do you think about the idea of trading for Joel Embiid? Would you give up Hachimura, Vincent, Kleber, and Reeves for a chance at a healthy Embiid, despite the massive injury concerns and contract? Is Rob Pelinka crazy enough to pursue this? Let me know all your thoughts, your excitement, and your deep-seated fears in the comments section below. Let's get this discussion fired up. And hey, if you're ready for a potentially wild, high-stakes offseason and want to stay completely locked in on all the Lakers news, rumors, and analysis, no matter how crazy the ideas get, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single update. That's going to wrap things up for this video. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Keep that purple and gold energy high, and let's brace ourselves for whatever high-risk moves Rob Pelinka might be considering. Go Lakers!